Hello again and welcome to Photo Dilettante. So yeah, I'm recording this on my Fujifilm XT200 with an external mic made by Takstar, which is by all accounts pretty good. The last time I recorded a video with this, I wasn't happy with the quality. It was just really odd. Maybe it was the lighting. I've turned HDR off, so this is kind of standard. I'm in Velvia. I wanted slightly warmer colours. Anyway, so this is just a quick little video, an update. I'm going to just... it's basically a test of the video on my Fujifilm XT200, and I'm going to show a few images I took at the weekend when I was up in London, a bit of street photography. Just a quick video just to get things going, as it were, and I'd value any comments. Just a little note on these images. They were all taken on the Fujifilm XT200 using my new lens, which is the f2.8 16mm, which is a 24mm full frame equivalent. It's very much similar to what I've got on my mini Panasonic Lumix cameras. I use the kit lens on there, which is a 12 to I think it's a 12 to 35, so equivalent of 24 to 70. And I found the 12mm focal length or 24 full frame equivalent was really interesting. I like using it for more architectural and indoor street photography shots. So yeah, I thought I'd go for that. And also, I tend to, when I shoot wide doing street photography, I use that as an opportunity to capture a moment and then I crop in post. I think all of the images I'll show, or most of them at least, will be cropped. And I've done some color grading and other things with pixel art. I don't use Lightroom because I'm sure it's great. It's just that I don't really have the skill set to use it. What I'm using is pixel art and their kind of pro version, which isn't that pro. It's like Photoshop from about 20 years ago. It's a facsimile, more or less. But I find it actually easier to use. And for the first time, I've been fiddling around with Photoshop for about 20 years or more. But when I started using pixel art, I found just the way it's laid out a bit easier. It doesn't have the same sort of suite of things you can get on Photoshop. But yeah, I felt more comfortable to use layers with it, which is interesting. Anyway, that's all a bit of an aside. This is just a test of the camera and the sound. Hopefully it's an improvement on my first test. I reverted to using my... I point over here because my camera is actually mounted on my laptop with this sucker tripod thing. I'll show you that in another video. But I'm pointing over here because my laptop's over here, and I actually used my laptop camera for my first video for Photo Dilettante, which I thought was kind of appropriate. You know, it's a terrible image quality, and I'm starting at the beginning. But yeah, so this is all a bit of a test. This is my Fujifilm XT220. I'm not looking into camera because it's got that flip out screen on the side, so I'm actually looking at myself on the screen, which is interesting. Anyway, this is my first kind of get the ball rolling video. I'm going to do a little montage of some of the street photography I've taken. I'd welcome any comments, and as I say, these aren't all straight out of camera. In fact, I don't think any of them are. I've tampered with most of them, and that's the way I work. That's the way I take pictures at the moment. I go up, take a bunch of pictures. This has got 24 megapixels, I think, so, and I usually crop like crazy. I take the picture, and sometimes it's very rarely it's what I want straight out of camera, and then I get it home and I usually crop it quite a lot and maybe change a few things. Yeah, so anyway, I'll leave it there, and follow will be a little photo montage, I think they call it, just some photographs. I'll see if I can get some music on the video as well and have a look at them, see what you think. I'd love some comments, and I look forward to I was going to say seeing you in the next one, but yeah, I'm not going to see you, but you know what I mean. I look forward to the next video. Enjoy. As I say, comments would be great. I'm starting out, and if you are, I'm just like you. Having said that, I have been shooting for about a year, and I did take a trip out to Sweden, and I took some pictures there. I might show you those, see what you think of them. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Here's some pictures to follow. I am enjoying this XT200. I'll do some reviews on all my kit, but that's going to follow. In the meantime, here's some pictures, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so here is my photo montage. This was a trip to London. I go up to London maybe once or twice a week, and I usually take one of my cameras with me, and I do some impromptu kind of street photography, architecture photography, that kind of thing. So this is the first one, and this is a centre point, which is at Tottenham Court Road, and this one has been colour graded in pixel art. I don't think I cropped this one. If I did crop it, I didn't crop it very much. This is 16mm Fujifilm, and yeah, I just kind of warmed it up a little bit in Pixlr. I think I used one of the filters they've got there. So I brightened it, warmed it up just a tad. Another quick one of center point, sort of quite steep perspective. This one's colour. I've also done one in black and white. Again, this is the Fujifilm 16mm f2.8 lens. And what else about that? Yeah, it's also focus. But anyway, I'll do a review of that. So this is the colour version. I also did a black and white version. And this is the black and white version. Again, this is I actually shot it in colour graded it with a filter in Pixlr, and this is another filter for black and white, and you can moderate, how extreme or mild the filters are. But this is another filter from Pixlr to make it black and white, slightly vignetted in the corners, but I quite like this one. So another architectural shot. I think this one was near Oxford Circus. There's quite a bit of new build stuff going up there. I quite like this. Again, this is cropped. I'd say at least 50% of the original image. However, the XT200 has 24 megapixel sensor, so you've got some scope for cropping. So quite like this one. Again, color graded. What I did with this is I put it into Pixlr and I did a filter on it, and I adjusted the filter until I was happy with it. Just warmed it up a little bit. It was quite a grey day, and this added a bit of warmth to it. So yeah. And I thought this was quite funny. It looks like a mum and her two children, and I think her sister or another family member with her. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they were dressed like elves and the kind of Christmassy outfits that you see outside of a toy shop, but the mum's having a quick cigarette with a shopping bag. I just thought it was really fun and interesting. This is quite a heavy crop. I think I'm probably less than a quarter of the image. Definitely more than half anyway. Again, because we've got 24 megapixels, you can do that. And I color graded this. I played around with some settings. I think I added a filter on there as well with Pixlr. Okay, so this is another quick shot and a very severe crop. I think I've cropped about 70% of the image out here, and I've had a bit of a play in Pixlr, and this is a bit of an extension of my previous use with photo editing. I have a background in art and kind of arty things. For a while I was training as an architect, or going on to as a draftsman, and this is a long time ago when it was all pen and ink, and I was at art college as well. So my background with Photoshop and the like is really me. If I bought a car or something or a bike, I would put it into Photoshop, and if I wanted to make any customizing changes to it, I might change the color, find pictures online of bits and pieces I might add to the bodywork, like spoilers and things. It was a car, put them on there and try it out before I actually spent the money and customized the car, that kind of thing. So I've applied that to this image, cropped it massively, because I've got that nice 24mm full frame equivalent field of view here with the Fujifilm 16mm lens I've got. That means I can take some snaps and kind of take the picture, then come home and select something out of it, crop in and make the picture. As a consequence, this is only about probably between 5 and 8 megapixels, very low resolution. Considering that, I think it's not a bad image. I mean, for online stuff, if you blew it up, it would fall apart. But I think, considering it's not too bad. What I did was I isolated the guy, kept him colour, made the rest black and white using the lasso tool and that kind of thing, and just mucked about with it a little bit. There are very often protests up in London now because of what's going on in the world at the moment, and I thought this guy sort of typified the kind of crowd that was there this weekend. They've been up there every weekend. I've been up there for a month or so, a few months now, since the things have been going on in the Middle East. So I just thought it's, from a street photography point of view, an opportunity, something's happening, just document what's going on. And this guy seemed in some ways to typify the people who were up there this weekend, and I thought it was interesting with his piercings and his blue hair and that kind of thing. So I had a bit of a play with the image, and so it'd be interesting to see what you think of that. I think in some ways this does typify the way I use the camera and take pictures as well. It's not always just out of camera. Very often it's not. I'm cropping. And then also it becomes a kind of art project as well, and I play with it a bit more. Do you do that? Be interested to see what you do when you take pictures on your phone or on your camera. Does this float your boat or not? Any comments, more than welcome. And here's another image which includes protesters, but there was a backdrop which I thought was rather surreal. If you look, all of those strips of what looks like a rubber duck crossed with a hipster with a beard and a hairy chest and his girlfriend and a bloke on the back of him. I don't know what's going on with this, some fashion freaky postmodern shtick, who knows. But the colours matched the flag, and it created this very surreal twist to what was going on. So I just thought it would make a kind of interesting opportunity. I took a picture of it. Again, this is quite a severe crop to add some impact. And you've got the trees sort of bleeding in at the top, framing it to some extent as the flag does, cutting across it diagonally. What I found interesting was the way the colours strangely blended. The images behind on the windows, they were windows that were also LCD screens. There were these different images on a kind of montage being shown on it. And I just luckily got the moment where they showed an image where the colours matched the colours of the protesters and the flag, and it just had a weird synchronicity to it. And I just took the shot. It wasn't in any way premeditated. I just thought it's abstract kind of colour play and I suppose a certain amount of layering. And I just took it and thought, and then came home, cropped it in, and there was a strange kind of surreal nature to it. And I just thought I'd include that. There's no kind of political commentary here or anything. It's just there was a surreal nature to what was going on. I took the shot, and yeah, I just thought it's got an interesting look. Be interesting to see what your take on it is, and feel free to comment. And a few more shots here that I've taken. I've kind of bunched them together. They're all of a piece. I found this new build stuff not far from Centre Point and Tottenham Court Road. A whole bunch of buildings that just look like Lego to me, like brand new Lego bricks. And I like the colours. As I was taking the pictures, somebody stopped me and told me who the architect was. And for the life of me, I can't remember who it was. I'm terrible with names. But obviously I wasn't the first person to notice these, but I really like them. Not a lot of work here, mainly cropping. I think I've cropped just about every image you've seen so far. So I've cropped them in, and for some of them, just a little bit of mild colour tweaking. Mainly because there's a lot of roadworks and things going on up in London, a lot of detritus on the street, like not just street furniture, but like bollards and things. And some of the colours clashed a little bit, so I just toned some down, changed some of the qualities of the blues, got rid of the purple and magenta because they were clashing with the warmer colours and more earthy tones of the buildings and things. So just little tweaks like that, just to tone down the noise a little bit, and then just cropping and there's playing with the way that the reflections create a kind of rhythm with the buildings in their staggered colours and staggered kind of placement on the pavement. But anyway, so I stuck these together and I quite like these. I'd really like to know what your comments are on and what your views are on this particular set of images, but I really like the colour. And the fact they literally look like they're made of Lego, they look like plastic, and it seems like the architect really leaned into that kind of plasticky look, and it really works. So anyway, so I like these ones. Okay, and on to these ones. I like the colour tones in these ones. You've got the concrete with the blue hues of the glass and the gold accents. And in particular on the first one, you can see how the local authority has been quite sensitive in with their Christmas tree. They've just mimicked the colours, the gold hues, and the particular kind of gold hues that you get on the buildings in the area, and I think it works really well. With the first one, the main focus of attention is the guy and the massive billboard, which is actually a video screen. So I was waiting with the camera there across the road until I got something of a subject. Below that, there's lots of visual noise, there's roadworks and all this ugly kind of like barriers and colours that would clash with the main colours of the building. So I cropped up a little bit or maybe I think I lifted the camera up here. There's not much of a crop on this one, I don't think, just to cut out all the heads and the kind of visual noise of the people and the crowds below and all the roadworks, traffic, and it's just a really noisy mess. So that might so you're viewing up, but there's not much to ground the buildings and things, but I think it kind of works geometrically, and you've got a focus of attention there with the guy in the billboard, which is just a massive TV screen. It looks like it's actually got louvers to close it up. I'm not sure what's going on there. And then a few other pictures of the buildings around there with the same colour scheme that led through to the plasticky Lego buildings. So these ones, I stuck them together because they it's the same kind of area with a similar kind of colour palette. What do you think? And here's another black and white shot of a really talented keyboard player or piano player. He had a kind of electric piano, and then a guy, I wasn't sure whether he was begging or something to do with it, I'm not sure, but I just got this little shot of him when he was looking at the guy playing, and this guy was a marvel to listen to. It was really, really impressive, doing this kind of virtuoso pieces on the piano that demonstrated his skill. It was a very noisy image. It was originally black and white, colour rather, so I converted it to black and white in pixel. I just chose one of the standard filters there, just one click and it was done. I quite liked the way it came out. The taxi was this bright blue, lots of clashing colours, lots of visual noise, but toned down dramatically once I made it black and white. I just like the way the guy was looking at him. It was a nice little shot. Compositionally, I'm not sure about this one. I think it's very messy, but it captures something of a moment. A nice little snap, just as kind of memoir for the day, and as a visual kind of memory for me of how cool this keyboard player was. And a final shot, just contrasting textures, really a bit of an abstract. You've got centre point and this new build, which is kind of facing it before you get to the station on the corner, and I just tilted the camera up and took a shot. This again is a heavy crop, so I don't know, just like the textures really, and tone and new old kind of look of this. With the sky in the background, the one thing I did do, I cropped it. I didn't do any color grading to this, but the sky was really washed out, so I got an image from the same sky but a different image. It was exposed a bit better, so I just mapped that over using pixel art. I didn't do anything else to that really, just a crop, and that was it really. So another little snap. So that ends the photo montage. I didn't plan on speaking over them, but I quite enjoyed doing it. If you like that, let me know. If it was informative and fun, great. If it wasn't, let me know, and I won't do it in future. I'll just play music. But there are a few images from my little photo recce up in London at the weekend. More to follow, and I'm currently using a video editing software called Capwing. And I work on Chromebooks, so it's been quite a slog, been a bit buggy. Hopefully I'll iron out the kinks with this whole process, and I'll be making more videos. One thing I will say about the XT200, you have to fiddle with the gain on the internal amplifier, whatever it is that's affecting the mic. There's a lot of background hiss, which is annoying. I'm currently using the microphone from my laptop to record this voiceover, not a mic. The mic I've got is actually excellent, and it's like much cheaper than equivalents, and it outperforms some of the more expensive ones. But there is a lot of background noise, So what's good about Capwing is they do have a feature where it gets rid of the noise. I'm going to try that out. Hopefully it will improve this video, but I'm speaking to you in the kind of pre-edit, so that's all in the future for me at the moment. Anyway, I'll end it there. Thank you for watching. More to come. Hopefully things will be a bit more polished. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.